This is SSPTV News, brought to you by Samsung Productions and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
We celebrate our area's Irish heritage on this St. Patrick's Day next. Hello friends, and thank you for spending some time with the SSPTV News team. I'm Ken Carr with your local information. After 24 years of public service, State Senator John Eudicek has announced he won't seek re-election in 2022. Eudicek is currently an independent state senator for the 14th District, and before that he was a state representative for the 119th District. In a statement, he thanked the people of northeastern Pennsylvania, who he says he worked with to create jobs and strengthen communities. Eudicek noted that the governor's action team reports that Northeast Pennsylvania is the #1 region in the state in job creation and private investment. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. It's become a tradition that we call on local historian Charles McElwee on this day. He joins Lisa Sugart for our latest local history segment.
Today is St. Patrick's Day, and you know what they say, on this day, everyone is Irish. Well, I'm pleased to be joined by a good friend who definitely is Irish and knows a lot about the Irish heritage in our area. Our good friend, Charles McElwee, who is the editor of Real Clear Pennsylvania, also vice president of the Greater Hazleton Historical Society and Museum. Charles, happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's right. 100% sixth generation. So I'm
partial. I have a little bit of Irish in me as well, about quarter Irish. So I'm right there with you. But there is a lot of Irish history in our area. Many buildings that we look at today, and that with a strong history and a strong presence, because there was a lot of people who came to our area from Ireland.
That's right. When you drive south of Main Street and let's say east of Vine Street, west of Poplar, north of Buttonwood, that whole area of the city of Hazleton, the south side as we know it, at one time was known as the Hill or Donegal Hill. And it was because everyone who lived there was descended from Donegal, Ireland. Immigrants had come there as early as the 1830s, including my ancestors, to the area, whether it was Harley or other patch towns in the area. And then they eventually settled in this wooded area south of what was the village of Hazleton. And they, in time, built a vibrant community and established a strong cultural presence in what became the city of Hazleton. So they had come from the most isolated pocket of Ireland, Donegal, Western Donegal, places like the Finn Valley and Glenties and Ardara. And just to think that they were coming from this place where they didn't even speak English there. And then they came to the south side, and in 1857, John Newman, who was Bishop of Philadelphia and is a canonized saint in the church, he established St. Gabriel's for these Gaelic-speaking Irish. And over time, that church, which was the second Catholic church in the area before St. Mary's in Beaver Meadows, St. Gabriel's became the cultural epicenter of that neighborhood. And of course, by 1927, that French Gothic 13th century cathedral that was modeled to look like St. Patrick's in New York, that church, of course, still stands today. But the size of the church itself, the fact that it looks like a cathedral and continues to command the let's just call it the skyline of Hazleton, that just shows you what presence the Irish once had in the city of Hazleton, especially before World War II.
Now that is still a beautiful building that was recently renovated, and so it still remains as part of the Irish heritage in our area. But unfortunately, some buildings have not stayed open and are not with us any longer. So that's a shame as well.
Right, Lisa. So the Irish as a cultural presence, it's quite faded. And this is a story that is so common in cities across America, and especially the Northeast. When it comes to Hazleton, it was really World War II that was the game changer. So many Irish were drafted. They came back to Hazleton. They enlisted in the GI Bill, and they left town. Subsequently, by the late 60s, we had urban redevelopment projects in Hazleton, downtown South. It was an infamous project that began in 1968. and then wiped out the South Side. So 16 square blocks were demolished in the hope of something better would replace it. And what they did was actually eliminate the commercial and cultural center of the neighborhood. In recent years, yes, we've lost some landmarks. The Battered Bug, which dates to 1861. For perspective, it was a year before Jack Kehoe was alleged to have carried out the first murder of the Molly Maguires in the Ottenreed, just down the road at that time. And the type of bar that if it were in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, for example, it would be open and would be booming. It's the type of bar that New Yorkers look for. And the last one, of course, was Boyle's Funeral Home, which it's only fitting, it's almost poetic that the last Irish landmark in the neighborhood to go is the funeral home. But St. Gabriel's remains a strong presence in the South Side. And it's interesting when you go in church, you see the etching of St. Patrick on the choir loft door. You go toward the altar, you see a tribute to Our Lady of Altagracia, patroness of the Dominican Republic. So it just shows you that as times change, some things remain the same. St. Gabriel's remains a strong, vibrant cultural presence on the South Side.
Time now for weather on SSPTV News.
Here's our forecast from the National Weather Service on Friday. Mostly sunny with a high in the mid-60s. Friday night, an 80% chance of rain, mainly after 2 a.m. We'll have a low around 50 degrees. Wind gusts as high as 23 miles per hour. New precipitation amounts between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch possible. Saturday, rain and a possible thunderstorm after 2 p.m. We'll have a high near 59 degrees. Wind gusts as high as 21 miles per hour. We have an 80% chance of precipitation. At night, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms before 8 p.m., then a chance of showers between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m. It will be mostly cloudy with a low around 41 degrees. Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 49 degrees. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 36 degrees. Monday, sunny with a high near 55 degrees. And Monday night, mostly clear with a low around 34 degrees. The Penn State Hazleton baseball team split a doubleheader on Wednesday. Let's go to the SSPTV standard speaker scoreboard. The local Lions lost a close one and then scored 13 runs to knock off Central Penn College. The Lions will begin their home schedule this weekend on a hot streak. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. Coming up next, the Miss Greater Hazleton Scholarship Organization is holding a fundraiser that will help you host a fun Easter egg hunt. Learn about the fundraiser and the organization next. Later in sports, how the Hazleton Area High School boys basketball team fought through injuries and were able to surprise some people as they chased the championship this season.
There will be a Pisanki egg decorating class presented by the Schuylkill County Historical Society on March 31st. The class will be $30 for members and $35 for non-members. SSPTV News would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. Evelyn Rose Chrisman, age 101 of Drums, the Crofton Funeral Home, went out to the arrangements. Norman C. Colig Sr., age 83 of Homewood. Services will be private under the Swords Funeral Home in Hollidaysburg. Elizabeth A. Mauser, age 97 of Hazleton. Mass will be held on Friday at 10 a.m. at Church of St. Joseph. Friends will on Friday from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Frank J. Bonham Funeral Home. Ronald Moser, age 91 of Whitehaven. A graveside service will be held on Saturday at 10 a.m. at Oddsfellow Cemetery in Frackville. The McNulty Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Margaret J. Perbull, age 83 of Weatherly. Services will be private under the Philip J. Jeffries Funeral Home. And Robert W. Reed Jr., age 91 of Drums. Crofton Funeral Home will announce the arrangements.
Tonight's obituaries are being brought to you in part by Harmon Funeral Homes and Crematory, with 2 locations in Rockland and in Drums, 570-384-3312 or 570-788-0977, and go to harmonfuneral.com.